Hello and welcome to Small Cap Nation. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. And with me today, Arthur Bevelis of Family Office Insights. And thank you for joining us today.
My joy. Thank you for having me.
Let's start just by telling me about Family Office Insights. What is it? How did it come about?
So some time ago, I sold a company, had some proceeds, didn't really know how to invest it. So I slowly got to know other people who also had sold companies and had a domain expertise in certain asset classes. And if I couldn't connect with them, then I would just say no to anything to invest because I couldn't glean any real interest in people. I didn't have the nerve to build a staff of analysts to analyze every asset class, and I wasn't willing to do that. So if I didn't have a friend who also had sold an operating company and what now is a family office, we didn't have family offices back then, we didn't know what they were. If I didn't have that connection or that relationship, then I would just pass. And so it saved me a lot of time and arguably money, but so it just slowly evolved into a community of me getting to know others who had sold operating companies and had a domain expertise.
Okay. Now, when she, just real quickly, we'll edit this out. She'll do a report here soon. When she starts going, we'll just stop and we'll resume when she's done, just so
Is she
the
gonna
audio
talk about
doesn't-
me?
She's in French, so yeah.
That's
Do you
okay.
speak French? Okay.
I can.
All right.
Sorry.
So, and that was 22 years ago that you started the Family Office Insights.
Actually, it didn't actually have a name. It was just me trying to navigate investment opportunities. And
So
it
here
didn't
you-
really have a name until 4 years ago.
Okay. So here you were, sold a business, had cash, wanted to put it into productive, profitable place, but didn't quite know how to do that, right?
It was largely because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have the skill, but I was also very chicken.
Okay.
Because I had some proceeds and I didn't want to lose it.
You didn't want to lose it.
Right.
You worked hard for that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that brings us to today. So tell me where you are today with Family
So
Office
over a
Insights.
series of adjustments and iterations of what this thing looked like, because it really wasn't anything, it's morphed into a very robust community of about 775 family offices, mostly single family offices. And it's very loose association. There's no membership fees. We're very laissez-faire about if you want an invite to come to one of our luncheons to hear about an opportunity, then please sign up. But if you don't. In fact, we send invitations and we say, if this isn't interesting to you, then please don't come because the sandwich is not very good.
Right.
And so what we're trying to do, it's largely what happened by accident now with intent is to continue to have very high level domain expertise by proxy for me, and that has created this opportunity where people can come and meet 10 or 15 family offices that with authenticity raise their hand and say, look, we're interested in hearing about that opportunity. You know, maybe it's somebody in Small Cap Nation or a startup or a real estate developer or something like that. Right. We have a limited capability of doing 40 lunches a year. So there's a demand for what we do, 50 or so a month. We pick 8, end up with 4. And so we just try to do a good job of selecting those. And just to be clear, we're not in the success fee business. So if somebody invests in them, we're out. We're not getting any revenue from that. We just charge a ridiculous amount of money for lunch.
For the lunch, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hold up. She'll only be about 2 minutes.
Will that be included or no? Will they edit that out when she's speaking?
It will be just, you can just hear it slightly in the background.
It doesn't matter to me. I thought that was good. I just didn't want to lose it.
Yeah. No,
what did you
we'll
think?
Keep it. We'll keep it. No, it's great. Yeah. You're actually great on camera. Very comfortable. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I do these lunches,
okay.
and I speak a lot publicly,
so
but these lunches it's not Shark Tank, but I'm asking the hardest questions in the room because I'm not promoting the person presenting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the meat of the matter. So
it's interesting you mentioned that. I did a charity thing last night. And it was Shark Tank for people who had been incarcerated, who had business ideas.
Very cool.
I
love that.
It was really interesting. Through a group called Defy Ventures. And
say it again?
Defy, D-E-F-Y. Defy Ventures.
Defy the history of your incarceration, right? I love it.
And this woman who ended up winning.
This isn't Billy Bush on a bus, is it? We have to be careful what we're saying.
Yeah, I think we're pretty non-controversial. But
I'm sorry.
She was from Jamaica and made patties, like Jamaica patties, like 8 different flavors, like beef and veggie and all this stuff, and had a deal with QVC and then a potential deal with Walmart to sell these things. We should have business, like manufacturing facilities and stuff.
You should meet my friend I'm having lunch with today. We're investing in her company, very likely. She's like a rock star female entrepreneur. And by the way, we have a whole community of those.
Oh, wow. I'll give you my card before we leave.
Because we're doing some very, very cool stuff.
Awesome. That would be great to do that. So, okay, so let's resume.
I forgot what I was saying.
I know, me too. So we talked about, okay, so let's talk about the mission. So you're really just trying to bring people with some proceeds from a business sale or family wealth.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's that sophisticated.
Okay.
And I think it's important to remember that this all happened by accident, and we were kind of paying attention. 3 years ago was 7 friends of mine around dinner listening to a hedge fund guy pitch us his fund, and I would be picking up dinner. It wasn't about a revenue generating opportunity, but all of a sudden the community started growing because we're a very safe place to be. And what I mean by that is they bring their richest, smartest friends, because I'm not chasing them after to invest in anything. And so it's a little unusual in terms of the spirit of this type of thing, because I'm not getting paid on the backside.
Right.
And so I started taking it seriously because I started having the community say, hey, we're doing this very cool thing, maybe we should socialize it with the rest of the community, and they might want to participate. Investment opportunity, building something. And there's also, I don't want to over glamorize it, but a philanthropic, not intent, but just a byproduct. So we have this 15,000 opt-in emailing list of hedge funds, private equity, their advisors, 2,000 family offices, 3,000 real estate investors, and 2,000 venture and angel investors who have opted in to read these little newsletters we sent. Not a newsletter, it's an interview. It's a 3-page interview.
Okay.
And that is, the opening click-through rates are ridiculously high because people read it.
And those interviews are with people who are looking for capital.
So those interviews are anywhere from somebody who's got a startup idea, somebody who's looking for capital, somebody has a hedge fund, has a private equity, to somebody who is helping women collect shea nuts with lanterns and gloves so they don't get bit by the snakes at night. So there's some other.
So just connecting people with a need of some sort with somebody who may be able to help them.
Yeah, and I don't want to over glamorize my sort of philanthropic intent here, but when we find people that are doing cool things to sort of change the world, then we'll just, those interviews cost $2,500, and we'll give the interview to a charity or somebody that we're helping support or somebody. For example, we interviewed Chris Fisher, who is OSearch, which tags white sharks and other sharks for ocean conservation, and it's 27 missions, arguably the modern day Jacques Cousteau.
Okay.
Well, we did a video on the ship, and he had a full production team, so we put it in the newsletter and, promoted his Montauk expedition and, cool stuff like that. Yeah.
It's just fascinating stuff, just all around, whether it's business or philanthropy or whatever. So what, you're working with Small Cap Nation on some things?
Yeah, so I've got to know with them, and obviously the community that we sort of curate, and that's a very strong word, I wouldn't even glamorize it that much either, is of interest because they're looking for people who want to. So we'll gladly look at a variety of opportunities, try to pick some that we think makes sense, and that's the biggest challenge. We have lots of people that want to pay for the lunch, so to speak, but we have to find ones that we think the community will like. And so there's 2 ways to do that. One is experience in my gut, and I think that the community would be interested in. And some of them have profiled themselves so we know certain things that they're interested in terms of asset classes, but it's not a dynamic site, so it's static information, so I don't want to pretend that it isn't. But the peer insights reports now, these interviews that we do, we use those as a way to take the temperature of the community, and if the open and click-through rates of those interviews are higher than average, then we'll say, look, the community seems to be interested, let's find a spot for you for lunch.
Interesting.
So it's another data point that we didn't have before because we would just do the interview as included in the lunching, but now we're doing it in advance.
Okay, so you have kind of an idea of what everybody's
it's not
thinking.
Very scientific, but it's better than.
But it's something. It's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how can somebody find out more about Family Office Insights?
Just go Family Office Insights, register. It's very simple, and say you want to learn more. And so there's 2. Obviously, there's a wall. There's people who are investors who register, and there's. It's all private, right? And then there's people who want to meet the investors. So there's 2 ways. One subscription, as you want to meet investors or see an opportunity to figure out how to do this. And then if you're an investor, a family office, legitimate, then you can register that way. And of course, we don't do background checks and vet everybody, but we have a pretty good idea who's who. It's not hard to tell.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. It's interesting.
Yeah,
Thanks
thanks
for
for
sharing
having
that,
me.
Arthur. Yes, and thank you as well for joining us on Small Cap Nation. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site.